What's up, and welcome to Mr. Spaghetti 12 videos. What's up, folks? It's your boy Mr. Spaghetti 12 and shit. And this is gonna be a Halloween story. It's just a true story. It's what happened to me recently. Actually, it was last year, but still, it's kind of recent. This is pretty much the birth of all Nintendo. I call it the Nintendo Factory House of Horror and shit. So one day I was coming back from my friend's house. We just got finished trick-or-treating and eating candy and playing on the PS3 and shit. Then I see a house that I'm like, oh man, one more house? It's a big gigantic house. It's like a fucking mansion and shit like that. So what I do is I go knock on it and there ain't no responses. I'm like, come on man, it's gotta be like the rich houses that be giving out like fucking Butterfingers and like big ass Snickers bar and shit, man. Come on. So I'm like, man, give me some candy and shit, man. Come on. And I'll be banging on the door and I ain't get no response. So I'm like, man, maybe no one lives here. So I decided to look in the window just to make sure. And what I see shocks me to this day, folks. I saw a bunch of children laying on conveyor belts going into this big box-like machine. And they would come out, they would be totally different. They would have like a fucking Nintendo logo on their head. It was just crazy. I was like, a Nintendo logo? What's going on? Like, I don't understand. So I back up a little bit. I'm about to leave this place and call the police. And then a man comes up from behind me with a Wiimote and a nunchuck and starts strangling my ass. And I wake up. I'm on the conveyor belt too. I'm like, shit, what's going on? I don't get it, man. So I'm talking to the guy right next to me. I'm like, dude, what is this shit, man? What is this? What's going on? And he's like, man, this is the Nintendo House of Horrors. It's the Nintendo Factory. This is how all Nintendos are manufactured and created. I'm like, no, man, this can't be happening to me. I'm a Sony fan. Come on, man. I don't want to be no Nintendo. I want to think for myself and shit. I'm like, man, we got to get out of here. Who's doing this? And like, it's a guy named Shokyo. He's the leader of the NW Nation. He has a whole army scheduled outside. There's no way we can probably escape. So I fucking like, man, I'm leaving this place. What's your name, man? We can probably escape together. He's like, man, my name is like fucking Dr. Trey 81 and shit. I'm like, it's cool to meet you, Dr. Trey. So I'm like, okay, Trey, get the knife right beside out my pocket with your hands. I'm gonna cut the rope and we can escape. So he gives me the knife. I cut my rope and shit. Then I see two of the Nintendo Land Police out of the corner of my eye. They about to follow me and attack me and put me back on the conveyor belt. I'm like, shit, Trey, I gotta go. I'm sorry. I'll try to come back for you and save you, man. He's like, man, just go. It's gonna be okay, man. It's gonna be okay. I'm like, man, I love you, man. So then I'm like, man, okay, I'll see you later and shit. So I see the Nintendo police. They about to chase me and shit. So I fucking start running this shit like that. And I escaped the house, and as I'm looking back inside the window, I see Dr. Trey get sucked into the machine, and he comes out on a 10 drone. I start screaming and shit, no man, come on! And that's how Dr. Trey 81 was born, folks. It's a tragic story. I ain't never told anyone about this, but that's how it went down. I tried to save him, and it just didn't work. He got turned into an Nintendo, and now I bow to destroy NW Nation and Nintendo for doing this to him. Peace out. It's your boy, Mr. Spaghetti 12.